So today we are doing a rear bearing on a 04 STi. First step is to remove the hub knuckle assembly. So you have the two 19mm bolts of the struts. You have the 19mm super long bolt. Here. This bolt here that goes through the first lateral link here through the knuckle and then through the second lateral link. This one can get seized pretty bad. Then the 32mm nut at the end of the axle here and the 17mm here. You will have also to remove the 12mm bolt for the ABS sensor. This one broke off when I tried to remove it. And then remove the old e-brake assembly, remove the spring, and you remove the cable so that you can free up the assembly here. So first step will be to put this in the press, and we are going to press the spindle out. So we're going to press that inner part here, push this out, and then we'll be able to get to the bearings. So here we have the 12-ton press from Harbor Freight. I'm using a 27mm socket to press the spindle out, and this one usually comes out pretty easy. And so you can see it coming down while I'm pressing. And then the spindle is going to come with the outer bearing. So here we have the outer bearing on the spindle that we will have to extract by gripping underneath and pulling out. And here on the hub we still have the inner bearing. So this one I will have to flip this upside down like this, and we are going to press that from the top and push it down. So now here I have a 34mm socket to press the inner bearing out. It's usually pretty easy to push out, and it will come out with a seal. Here's the seal that fell off. This seal was actually pretty damaged at the edge. Here is the inner bearing with the spring from the seal. Here the only thing we have left is a race that we are going to push out and replace. So in order to remove this race, which need to be pushed this way towards us, there is a retaining ring at the top there. And you compress the spring and remove it like this. The snap ring is out. Now we'll put this back in the press and push this out. So here I'm using a 48mm socket to press the race out. So here I'm using an extension to finish pushing the race all the way through. You can see the race coming at the bottom here when I'm pushing. There we go. Race is here and out. So we're going to be cleaning this up and pushing the new race in. So to extract the outer bearing from the spindle, I am using this gear puller set from Harbor Freight. And basically you squeeze the two halves there behind the bearing, and here you just have to tighten the bolt. Yep, so here I just use my 27mm socket to press on the spindle so that the rest of the bearing come out. There we go, all the way. So now the seal should come out easy. The old seal is actually still in good shape, but we're going to replace all of this. So here are the parts that will be needed to complete the job. That's a new rear bearing, the part number. And you'll need the two seals, the outer seal here and the inner seal here. So the outer seal is going to come here on the spindle. Then if we open the box for the bearing, so the bearing can come with the new race, and the inner and outer, they are symmetrical, so it can go either way, it doesn't matter. So one of the bearings is going to come here, and the other one is going to be pressed afterward. The first step is going to be getting that plastic piece out here that's holding the two bearings together. There we go. So I push this with one hand, so I have one bearing coming out. Then I can flip it, and then I get my race. So first thing is going to take this race, and we're going to go back to the press and press the race back in the hub like this. So here we have the old race on the new race, and it's a fairly easy job to get it down. You have to press it enough down so that it comes in place where the snap ring is supposed to come. And so at the end, when you feel the pressure and you cannot go any further, release, and everything should be in place. You can see here there's a lip to put the snap ring, so we're exactly where we need to be. Time to put the snap ring on. So here, just put the snap ring back on. Technique is to squeeze on this side, put this side down first and squeeze it, then get the other end of the ring down and release. So for grease, we're using this Redline CV2. I'm gonna grease a bit the seal, and then the seal is gonna just be pushed here at the edge of the spindle like this. And I'm gonna re-grease those bearings with grease before pressing them in. So here we're using a 41mm socket that's going to be used to press the bearing. And so one thing you want to do is to have a socket that will be able to slide over the spindle to push the bearing all the way down. So the 41mm here is going to do the job. It's not too wide as having a good contact patch with the bearing, but not too tiny that it would hit the spindle here. So here we go, time to press. So here we are pressing the bearing down. So you don't want to use the old race and push on the bearing itself. That would damage the bearing. You really want to put on the inner race of the bearing too. There we go, I'm centered, so now I can push all the way down. There we go, and we are hitting at the bottom, so it means the bearing is all the way in place. So here I'm just gonna put the hub over the spindle like this. And so now I'm gonna go get my inner bearing, put the bearing in, and we are gonna press the bearing in. So here my race is greased. I have my bearing, and I'm using a smaller socket here. I'm using a 36mm socket to make sure that when I push the bearing down, the socket is going to hit the spindle and not push the bearing any further. So this way I won't compress the bearing or damage the bearing pressing it in. Here we are, we're pressing the bearing in, it goes super easy in. And when I reach the socket hit the spindle, it's going to stop pressing in. So here the last step is going to be to put that inner seal. So I greased it. The lip part is going to be on the outside to protect the axle boot. So you put the seal in there and to push the seal down. I'm going to use the old race that we removed. It's the perfect diameter. I'm going to use this and tap it slightly with a hammer to press all around to press the seal down. So here we are, I can see the job is complete. The seal is at the edge where it should be. And now we just have to put it back in the car and reassemble. Before you do it, you can do a quick check by spinning the spindle. There should not be any lateral play. If it's really hard to turn, you probably pressed the bearings too much. So it should turn pretty freely, and if it spins too freely, you might not have greased it enough or not press the bearings in enough. So if you just follow the direction here, it should be right the first time. Good luck to put everything back together, especially the brake is a pain. And make sure you put NTCs on all the bolts. Also, take some time to clean up everything in here. Go with a scraper and remove all the rust and everything you can to make sure the new bolt doesn't season and coat everything in NTCs.